Hey, Lena, Miss Renee said. Tracy said she would see you later. She has a lot of errands to run. Oh, that's okay. I guess I'll just see her when she gets the chance. We commenced to take the ride back to the apartment, and I obviously drifted off, because when we got there, I noticed that we were at a completely different apartment. I thought this kind of strange, being that Trey never mentioned that she was moving. When we got inside, it was apparent that they had just gotten there because there was very little furniture and the place didn't seem very, homey. Still no Trey. I went into the spare bedroom where the two twin beds were replaced by what looked like a full bed. I put my suitcases in the corner and laid down on the bed. As I laid there, I felt me getting more and more angry. Well, maybe it wasn't anger, just severe disappointment. I mean, where was she? Didn't she miss me as much as I missed her? Didn't she wonder if I even got here safe? Maybe I was just a fool. Maybe she didn't think of me at all. Maybe I was just some stupid country-ass girl that she took joy in making a fool out of. The tears started to sting my eyes, and I realized that yet again, I was shedding a tear over her, over this stranger. I wiped the tears from my eyes and got up to take a shower. As I headed towards the bathroom, I realized just how much time had passed. The house was dark, and I wasn't even sure if anyone else was there. I walked into the bathroom and was surprised to see a small cassette player sitting on the sink. I sat on the edge of the toilet seat cover waiting for the water to get hot, and I welcomed the steam that filled the small tiled bathroom. I let it surround me. As I stepped into the shower, I hit play on the radio and was hit with that familiar bass voice talking about what everyone strives for: love and happiness. I let the hot water hit me, and it actually burned a little bit. I let it scald me to take away from the internal pain I was feeling. I closed my eyes and pretended I was somewhere else, somewhere I'd never been before, a place that I often saw in my mind: black sand, gentle breeze, an orange sun, and me, completing the picture of paradise. I pretended the water was the warm sun washing over me. Just then, I heard the bathroom door close. "I'm sorry, I'm in here." "I'm sorry, was the music too loud?" The cassette player stopped, and I felt nervous to look from behind the shower curtain. I heard the cassette player open and close, and then I heard the play button. And then a voice I hadn't heard before belted out, "Girl, you know I love you, no matter what you do." I stood there frozen, like a statue, unsure what to do. I closed my eyes and absorbed the impact of this musical stranger's voice. Just then, I felt a brick wall of warmth, soft warmth. I refused to open my eyes, but I knew who it was. I wanted to turn around and curse her out for how she made me feel. No one had ever been this close to me. She took her hand and gently yanked my neck to the side. Her tongue licked from the bottom of my neck to the top and ended with a gentle bite. As she maneuvered her tongue over and over again, I felt the moisture forming between my legs. My knees felt weak. Her hand cupped my left breast, and she began to massage my nipple in a circular motion. A moan escaped my lips, and I heard a tone in my voice that I had never heard before. Who was this stranger? Her right hand slid down into my crease, and a small explosion took place inside of me. I started to tremble, and I could feel my juices drip down my leg. The tears poured down my face beyond my control. I was overflowing in every sense of the word. I was pulsating between my legs, and I could feel it throughout my entire body. Trey took her middle finger and began stroking my vagina over and over again. She lifted my right leg and put it on the edge of the tub, and she slowly slipped her middle finger inside of me and began to move it in and out very slowly. I heard Trey's voice for the first time as a moan escaped her. The heat between my legs, Trey's moaning in my ear, the rush of the water cascading down my breast, and the mystery musician roaring, "I love ya, I love ya." Then gently, "I love you." And then silence. The rest of the night seemed like a blur. Trey and I climbed into the bed, wet, and allowed the summer air to dry us off. I felt so weak and just remembered falling asleep in Trey's arms. Morning came way too quick. I awoke, and again, Trey was gone. A note: "Missed you terribly. Be home soon. We can go to Harlem. Kisses. Trey." Though the sentiment was nice, I immediately felt that wave of disappointment again. I stayed in the house all day, alone. It's like everyone in New York had something to do except me. I sat by the window deep in thought for hours. For some reason, something just wasn't sitting right with me. I was confused about Trey, the in, the out, the way she was so vague. I just felt that I needed to understand. I made a decision that Trey was either going to tell me what the hell was going on, or this was going to be my last trip to New York. I fell asleep but awoke when Trey slid in the bed behind me. I sprung out of my sleep like Dracula in a casket and could tell that I startled her. She made a sorry attempt at covering her surprise and laid down next to me. I nudged her and said, "Trey, listen, this is not going to work. Wake up. You're not going to keep doing this to me. I may not be the most street smart girl in the world, but I know when I'm getting played. I know when I deserve better." Yo, I had a long day, and I cannot do this with you right now. "Well, when can you do it, Trey? You never stay around enough to do anything, except fuck me." Trey, never hearing me talk like that, was taken aback, but simply responded, "Watch your mouth, Lee. And I already told you I wasn't in the mood to have this conversation with you." "Well, you know what? Since you don't have the desire to talk to me, I will go out and find someone who does." In an instant, I hopped up, turned on the light, and began getting dressed. I didn't know where I was going or even what time it was, but I had been in the house all day and was ready for a change of scenery. Trey pretended to be uninterested, and that just fueled me more. I slipped my boots on, and just then, "Where you think you going?" "To find someone who gives a shit about me." "Watch your damn mouth," faded in the distance as I walked out the house. As the cold night air hit me, I was stricken with a panic I had never felt before. As the cold night air hit me, I was stricken with a panic I had never felt before. I had been around the area many times with Trey, but never by myself. I really had no idea where I was going. I thought about going to Harlem, but didn't want to stray so far from our temporary home. As I walked down the street, I realized that I didn't even really know where I was. This was a totally different area from the last apartment, and I was definitely lost. I looked at the signs at the corner, and it said Hudson Street. I drilled that into my head to make sure I wouldn't forget it. I figured I would walk around a bit, just long enough to make Trey worried about me. As I walked, I noticed that the area was getting much more populated. I started seeing little bars and storefront cafes with the most interesting looking people in it. In what seemed like an instant, I was magically taken to Oz. I heard loud music. There were men and women everywhere, and the more I walked, the harder it was getting to tell which was which. Across the street, I saw a large group of women standing on line, and they were some of the most beautiful women I had ever seen. It was clear to me that this was a lesbian place because the majority of the women were hand in hand. When I got to the door, the woman with the large afro and no bra stated, "ID, please." I don't have any ID. I'm visiting here." She looked at my outfit and said, "You definitely are." "How old are you?" 17. "Well, you're way too young to get in here." Damn, I thought to myself. I should have thought that answer through a bit more. "It's okay, Rock. She with me." "Oh, all right, Angel, no problem, but you're responsible for her." "You got it." The stranger grabbed my arm, hustled me inside, and proceeded to say, "Have a good time, pretty lady," and walked away. "Wait," I said. The stranger turned to face me with the most beautiful eyes I'd ever seen. "Yeah," she said. Frozen with amusement, I simply said, "Thanks." "No problem. I couldn't let a pretty little thing like you stand outside all night." She winked at me, and then she was gone. I walked towards the back of the smoky bar, hoping to find a seat so I could blend the best way I could. I found a little nook in the back, and like a strange country fish out of water, I tried to blend. A few songs later, a bald-headed, dark-skinned woman approached me and asked if she could buy me a drink. Happy and a bit nervous that someone noticed me, I said, "Sure." "Well, what would you like?" Me never drinking before and not having a clue, I replied, "Surprise me." When she came back and handed me the clear concoction, I gulped it like it was apple juice. It took all of 10 seconds before an immense burning flared up in my chest. I stood there with my eyes bulging, and my new stranger said, "Wow, girl, you must be thirsty. Let me get you another." 3 chest burners later, and I was spinning on the dance floor. I felt so free, twirling as Gloria Gaynor convinced all the lesbians in the room that they would survive. As I was in mid-spin, I started to not feel so well. I motioned to move towards a seat, but stumbled. My new favorite stranger caught me and said, "You a little messed up. Let me take you home." "Okay," I mumbled. "I live with Jay in the Hudson." Okay, sweetie. Don't worry. Rachel's gonna take good care of you." The cold air hitting me only made my nausea worse. I leaned against the wall and closed my eyes when I heard a familiar voice. "Oh, this is what you do when I let you out of my sight?" I opened my eyes, saw Trey, and immediately started yelling. Well, rather slurring, loudly. "You go to hell. All you do is keep secrets. You're like one big, secret keeperer. I don't even know you. I come here to see you just for you to play with my pussy in the shower and be gone when I wake up. How could you? I guess I know what a whore feels like. I only wanted to know you. I mean, really know you. Where are you all day? Huh, Trey? With your other whores? Am I the newest addition to your whore collection?" I felt the stinging on my face before I even felt the tears sting in my eyes. I grabbed the right side of my face in disbelief and fell to my knees on the hard pavement crying. Trey lifted me up, yanked my arm, and pushed me into a yellow cab. "Now you fucking listen to me. You ain't nobody's whore. You asking about shit you don't need to know nothing about. This may be a vacation for you, but this is life for me. These streets ain't a game. Don't you ever run off at the fucking mouth and disrespect me like that in public again. Do you hear me? Lee, I care about you, but I will slit your fucking throat before I let you destroy the credibility it took me so long to establish. Do you understand me?" "Yes." When we got to the house, my head was spinning and my face was aching, but nothing compared to the bruise my heart felt. I laid in the bed and tried to understand why this person that had just disrespected me in the worst possible way lay next to me and all I wanted them to do was hold me. Trey must have felt my silent yearning because she came behind me and got real close. "Lee, things are not always what they seem. It's not that I want to leave you in the dark about things. It's just that once you know something, you can't unknow it. Ignorance is not bliss, Trey. I understand that, Lee, but sometimes things you know can hurt you even more than the things you don't. Trey, all of that sounds good, but if you cared about me in the least, you would let me into your world. You can say those things because you're not the one on the outside. I am." "Yeah, Lee, and you can say that because you don't know the kind of pressure I feel." "Pressure?" My voice raised. "What pressure, Trey? It's just me and you. When you climb into this bed, it's just us. What pressure? I never asked you for anything." "Yeah, but Lee, your father would..." Just then, the loudest silence took over the room. With my back still turned, and with a tone that would make the devil shake, I said, "My father would what?" "What about my father?" How do you even know my father, Trey? What the hell is going on here?